video we're going to look at the sequence of play, and we're just going to be interested in the stuff that's relevant. We're going to be looking at the Lyran Star Empire at the start, and we'll be sort of looking at the economic phase. Now, there's only certain parts of the economic phase that are relevant on turn one. The first one is your survey phase. So each civilization has its own number of survey ships available to these. This is like an abstract of vessels sailing away, doing the old enterprise things, finding new worlds and new civilizations, etc., and adding them into the actual Lyran Empire if we found any. Now, what you do for this is the Lyrans have 3 ships, so every turn they roll 3 dice and they keep a running total. And what they're trying to do is get a certain number of points at which they can expand their sort of off-board empire. So let's just assume the Lyrans haven't got any off-board provinces, which isn't true, they do. We would then wait for the first 5 provinces discovered off-map. We would have to get 20. So if I roll this and I eventually reach 20, I get 1 new province. And if I then rolled another load of 20 dice, I'd get a second one, etc. Now, each off-board province gives you 2 economic points, which go to your production total. So you're actually growing your empire. And the more off-map provinces you have, the more expensive it becomes to gain a new one. So this total goes up from 20 at its lowest in various increments. Now, the next thing you need to know is your production. Now, your production for your economy is based on the economics chart. So if we look at the Lyran civilization, they've got 115 economic points, and this is broken up to economic points that are on map, economic points that are off map, and the capital planet itself. And they go by provinces, minor planets, and major planets. Now, each province is worth 2 EPs, each economic points. Each minor planet is worth 3, and each major planet is worth 5. So if you do adding them all up at the start, it's going to be 115. So you don't really need to worry about that, and apart from the fact that you can grow it through survey, so you can start getting new provinces in, and you can lose stuff by other nations conquering your provinces, your planets, etc. So obviously, if nothing like that's happened, you don't have to keep recalculating it. Right, you write it down, you put it on your sheet here. So for your turn, so I've got 56 worth of on-map planets and provinces, 24 off-map, and your capital is 35. If you're interested about your capital is based on the equivalence of 5 minor planets and 4 major planets. So 4 major planets, 5 apiece, would be 20 EPs, and the 5 minor planets at 3 would be 15. So your capital comes down to 35 points like this. All right? Next thing we'll do is we'll look at the actual military construction. This is based on your construction schedule. This is a full turn for the first turn, so I can build a battle cruiser, a heavy cruiser, 3 war cruisers, 3 war destroyers, and 3 frigates. So I then look those up on the cost charts, which they're in the manual somewhere, but most of the time it's based on the It's based on the attack strength of the counter. So for example, a Kint's battle cruiser has an attack factor of 8 and it's a construction cost of 8. Now that's not always true. You can go off these sheets here, or you can use these sheets. You can use your fleet sheets down the side, which also give you your build costs and everything. Okay, now I think there might be some contradictions with this. I'll probably have to look this up. But anyway, you establish your build cost, and you then keep a keep an account of how much construction points you've actually used and what you've got left. There's loads of other things that can be spent, so don't spend it all on construction. You can say, oh, how can I spend it all on construction when I can only build a few things? Well, yeah, you can build those, but you've also got what's called accelerated production. So in that case, you can build more than your normal construction rate, but you build at double the cost. Okay, and you can only do that in improved construction if you're running a war economy, right? Next thing, if you're not running a war economy, you can't accumulate EPs from turn to turn. Any that you don't spend are lost. But in a wartime economy, you can actually keep accumulating them. So if I didn't spend those other 62.5 here, I could, on turn 2, I'd have another 65.2 plus 115. Next thing to consider is you've got mothballed fleets. Some civilizations, like the Klingons, have a load of older ships they keep in reserve for emergencies. Now these effectively can be activated at 1 economic point per ship activated, and there's a pool of these ships. Yeah, there's a pool of these ships in the annex. So it says I've got 24 D6s, 12 F5s and 12 E4s, and I can activate a certain number each turn in wartime. Okay. Actually even in limited war I can do a certain number. But those are as I said, they cost you 1 EP to activate them per ship. Now they're always activated at your home planet, and all your new ships that you build are always built at your capital shipyard. Right, obviously economics is a lot more complicated than that, but we're keeping it nice and simple to start with.